Bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Denzel Washington is in a western now with Chris Pratt and Ethan Hawke. This is what happens when my wife is not here to stop me. Hey everybody, welcome back to Drinks and a Movie. Chris Hamker back with you. I have a new microphone. No. I'm sorry about that. I'm playing. Enough. Let's get to the serious stuff, which is drinking. Today we'll be talking about Magnificent Seven, and I'm sure with the new microphone, my singing was just that much worse. You're welcome. All right. So, Magnificent Seven, new Western with Denzel Washington, and what I thought I'd make today for the drink, because you should always start with a drink, is a drink called the Cowboy Killer. I don't know why it's called the Cowboy Killer, but it sounds pretty good. It's essentially Manhattan, which is one of my favorite drinks, except you add an orange liqueur like Triple Sec, or if you're real fancy, Grand Marnier. It's French. And muddled cherries into the mix before, not just garnished with the cherries. So, all right, so you start with the muddled cherries, and it's muddled cherries into the shaker, 2 parts whiskey, 1 part Triple Sec, 1 part Sweet Vermouth, and a couple of splashes of bitters, shaken over ice and served in a cocktail glass. So let's start with the cherries. Juice, Jesus. Cherries, get in there. And this is going to be a cherry-centric drink. Sweet Mary. All right. Cherries. Muddle these guys in there with my fancy muddler. So that little tune I was singing was the theme song to the classic 1960 Magnificent Seven, and it's a great Western theme song, and I thought I would sing it to you, just cuz. All right, those should be muddled enough. Clinkety clackety, I'm sure you heard all that. All right, so we got my muddled cherries. Get in some ice. 2 parts whiskey. Old West, gotta be whiskey. 1, 2, 1 part, and then 1 to 1. One part Triple Sec, excuse me. One part Sweet Vermouth. And then a couple of shakes of the old bitters. Top her off. All right. Cap that off, give her a few shakes. Bum, 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 and more singing for you. All right. Into a cocktail glass. And then topped off with a cherry, because there's just not enough cherry in this. Okay. All right. Cheers, everybody. Here's to you. Here's the Magnificent Seven and the Cowboy Killer. The Magnificent Seven is directed by Antoine Fuqua and stars Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, and Ethan Hawke in a remake of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. And the filmmakers actually give Akira Kurosawa story credit. I was very surprised and impressed that the filmmakers decided to do this. Now, this is the second time the Seven Samurai has been remade. There is a 1960s version of the Magnificent Seven starring Steve McQueen, Yul Brynner, Eli Wallach and Charles Bronson, which is also very good, but neither of these westerns are as good as the original Japanese film. Now, enough of the history lesson. This is a pretty straightforward story. A town is under siege by an evil robber baron, and they hire Denzel Washington's lawman bounty hunter to help rid them of the evil guy. And along the way, he stops and picks up some interesting characters. Chris Pratt's Faraday is the hard-drinking gambler. Ethan Hawke's Goodnight, and yep, that's his name, is a sharpshooter with a past and one of my favorite characters. And Vincent D'Onofrio is this kind of strange, soft-spoken man, bear, crazy person. I mean, it's another one of the long lines of Vincent D'Onofrio's strange, eccentric characters, and I kind of loved it. And they all come together to defend this town. You know, it kind of reminded me of a little bit of Three Amigos, where they teach the town how to defend themselves. And they defend themselves against this kind of cartoony, slimy character played by Peter Sarsgaard, and he's just there to serve the point of the villain. I mean, there's not much to him. He's, again, very cartoony and a little too over the top for my taste. Now, there are two types of westerns. There's the gritty, hardcore, realistic western, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Unforgiven, and Open Range. And there's the Hollywood popcorn fun action western, like Tombstone, the 1960s Magnificent Seven, and Young Guns. And this movie kind of falls into the latter, but I gotta be honest, I really like both. I'm a big fan of westerns. Now, I like this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. The cast is amazing, and the characters they played are different, but the chemistry between them just oozed off the screen and was really one of the best parts of the movie. I mean, the action's good, but I found myself really looking forward to the quiet moments where these characters could interact. And I felt that's where the movie really shined. I mean, these guys just look like they're having so much fun, and it's just really enjoyable to watch. Now, I mentioned the action was good, but it wasn't great, at least not all of the times. I found the action to be quite pedestrian at times. And what I mean by that is there would be bits of nice, inspired, new type of Western action, but then they revert back to these old Western tropes of the hero shooting at the bad guy, and then it cuts automatically to the bad guy just falling over dead, and it just didn't seem very inspired to me. I mean, it was just kind of like this. Now, that scene was actually from the original Magnificent Seven, and there's a lot of stuff like that. Actually, this movie leaned quite a bit on quite familiar Old West tropes, like the gunslinger walking into the bar, the piano stops and everybody shushes up. And also the villain, like I said, was very cartoony at the very beginning, just to prove he's a bad guy, mind you. He burns down the church. Now, this was done so many times. It's done in Tombstone. I mean, it's just done a bunch of times, and I felt it didn't really give the bad guy any kind of personality. It's just like, well, he's just your normal Old West cartoony bad guy. Now, I love westerns, but I don't think this movie added really anything to the genre. So these are a couple of very minor nitpicky problems I had with the movie. All in all, I had a really good time with it, and that really overshadows any of the issues I had. And I think maybe the filmmakers knew what they were doing when they used so many Old West tropes. Maybe they were giving an homage to them. I mean, who knows? But the point is, I think this movie is well worth the money. I mean, the actors and the characters alone are so much fun that I would totally recommend going seeing this. I'm going to give this movie a solid, really solid 3.5 drinks out of 5. Yeah, I mean, it's good, and you know what? I really enjoyed it. So, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe down here at the bottom. Check out me. That's right. Check out me on my English-speaking channel. Check me out on Twitter, on Facebook. I have my website that's updated because my wife is amazing. Let me know what your favorite Western is. I think mine is still Tombstone. I mean, it's just got so many great characters and really good action in it that I could keep going back to it. So let me know what that is, and either way, thanks again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a drink on me. Cheers, everybody.